Thanks, you guys. Portland's a really good team with an excellent coach. I've known Mike Meek since he was the high school coach at Clackamas, and he had a couple of players back then that both went to USC when I was at Cal. But we've mended that fence, and he's a great coach, and we knew they were going to come out here and play really hard. I thought our players, after that first quarter, really figured out that we had to pick up the defensive intensity and the ball pressure to negate their size on the wings, and I thought we did that pretty well. And I thought ultimately we found more of a rhythm on offense. It started at the defensive end, and saw some shots go down, and we're still a work in progress, but we'll take it. We'll learn from every game and keep moving with a big one on Friday in South Bend.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
Charlotte, FI 360 News. Great game. You mentioned about the adjustment you guys made after the first quarter. You saw Kennedy come alive in the offense. Was there anything said to them when they came alive to the offense that made that transition for them easier?
I think we just told them to pick up the pressure on the defensive end. That usually kickstarts your offense. Obviously, Ken leads us in that area. And then from an offensive standpoint, because they were kind of mixing defenses and pressing and playing zone, it favors like players just with a feel. I can't control as much out there. So obviously Jazzy and Ken, have a great feel of where to get the ball, on the offensive end. And so I thought we flowed a little bit better after the first quarter, but it really started on the defensive end. I mean, obviously we turned them over 29 times, and that was key.
Hey, Coach, good game, you guys. Just want to talk about the beginning of the game when they came out pressing, and it seemed like I knew that USC knew that they were going to press, but it seemed like it caught everybody off guard. What did you do to kind of calm them down and get them to run their press break effectively?
Yeah, I mean, all we talked about for the day and a half of the scout was press. So it shouldn't have caught us off guard. But we are still learning, right, how to handle things like that on the court and not be casual and get it to the right spots. And so again, I didn't draw up anything new. We didn't, call a timeout and be like, hey guys, they might be pressing now. Like we knew it was coming. And I just think sometimes throughout the game, you just got to learn and grow up a little bit and get a little tougher and get the ball where it needs to go.
Hey, Lindsay. Dating back to the last game, I think it was 0 for 7 to start from 3, and I think it was 1 of 20 going back to the last game. How do you feel just in general about the team's just long range shooting? What you've seen so far?
I mean, I think we have a lot of good 3-point shooters. Like we might have one of the better 3-point shooting teams like I've had. So we've really talked about getting the best shots for us. I thought against South Carolina, maybe their defensive pressure or maybe just how physical the game was, maybe had us take a good shot instead of a great shot. But in general, when we have wide open threes, I expect them to go down. Jazzy's threes are going to go down. Ken's threes are going to go down. London, you saw in the second half, came alive. Kara Dunn, we have a good 3-point shooting team when we get to, the right shot. And I have total confidence that those are the shots we want to take. And ultimately, I'm looking at our shot profile in the office. We have analytics. What shots are we trying to get? And when they're really good threes, whether they're early or late in the shot clock, we want to shoot them. And I think that's tremendous upside for us because I think we're all in new spots and we're all new people playing together. And when we settle in a little bit and threes start to go down more regularly, you'll see more of these 24 and 26 point quarters and less, ugly quarters of 10 points.
On the other side of the coin, what does this team do well defensively right now? Or do best, I guess?
I think our point of attack, like I've said, I think, when you go back and watch films, you really see how good Ken is in every area. Just taking away what the other team's strengths are, and then Jazzy and London and Malia, like they all heat up the ball. And so I think our best thing is probably the pressure we can put on people and still be in gaps and not give up, easy things that we want, we want to make things hard on another team every single time we play. And, we have a lot of length. I think our front court has a ton of length, and when they start flying around and they can bother people, and we're still a work in progress there too. But like I said, I thought tonight we negated what Portland's really good at, which is big wings and post-ups, because the ball pressure got really good.
Hey Jazzy, you guys were playing on a short turnaround tonight, and now you've got your third ranked opponent coming up later this week, another big trip across the country. a lot of things coming at you fast and furious as a freshman. Kind of how has these first couple of weeks been for you, and what do you find yourself doing to kind of just learn as you go and kind of keep yourself all together?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you said, I'm just learning a lot. I'm super grateful for these experiences. I think it's really unique to be able to play all these amazing teams so early into my freshman season. So I'm just learning from my teammates, my coaches who have been there before, and learning from every game.
Hey, Coach. London Jones hit like 4 threes tonight, contributing to the huge 26-point fourth quarter. What do you have to say about her performance, and how have you seen her constantly improve throughout the season?
Yeah, I mean, we know obviously she's a 3-point sniper. She's proven it over her career. In big games, consistently, she's been like a 35% 3-point shooter. So that's initially going to stretch defenses. But we also know that London's more than a 3-point shooter, right? So, we've seen her do a lot of things off the dribble. Actually, her twos didn't really fall tonight. But I think her percentage from two has been much higher, than any other time in her career, because I think we've allowed her, obviously, to say, just make the right basketball play. But like I said, she's someone who puts the work in, shoots a ton of extra shots. She has proven that she's a shot maker, and I'm, more surprised when they don't go in. I'm more surprised when Jazzy's don't go in or when Ken's don't go in. And so I think we're getting to the point where if we can catch a bit more of a rhythm together, we'll see more shots go in overall. But yeah, I mean, like I said, if she misses her first two, I expect the next 4 to go in.
How's it going, Coach? Kai played 12 minutes and she had 12 rebounds. That efficiency is probably what you want in a player, especially in a big. What did she kind of do tonight to earn that, or in practice, earn that spot and help you out?
Yeah, I mean, our bigs are by committee. The bigs are going to be by committee. I tell them to stay ready when they're ready. Obviously, we had a premium on rebounding. I think we're giving up too many offensive rebounds to the other team. That's collectively. But, all of our bigs are going to get a shot probably in every game. That's where we're at right now. And when they come in, rebounding and running the floor and being present on defense are going to, be the thing that's going to be most effective and, hopefully keep them on the floor. And I thought, she came in and made a concerted effort to go grab the ball, got her hands on a lot of balls. Some of the offensive rebounds were her own. Like, we know she can finish as well, but just the second effort and the second jump was big. She can bring that. So can all of our bigs, right? So we think it's going to be by committee, and Viv continues to finish well. She was 3 for 4. I thought Laura and Gerda both gave good minutes, passed the ball well. So they're all capable of different things, and they all have things that they're working on. So we're going to continue to challenge them just to be at a high level every single time they get opportunities.
Hey, Kennedy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I want to talk about your stat line tonight, because you were 5 for 14, 3 from 6, 3 out of 6 for 3-pointers, and you had 7 rebounds, and you had a couple steals. And so I want to ask you, you're being asked to do so much for this team this year. Tonight you kind of broke through. Are you starting to feel a little bit comfortable with what you're being asked to do? Talk a little bit about that.
I think my biggest thing is just being consistent. I feel like I haven't really produced as much as I wanted to. I mean, obviously I bring that defensive intensity, but offensively I feel like I can be better for my team. So obviously that takes getting in the gym and doing the extra work to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think the shots are going to fall, like Coach Lindsay said, so progressively just keep working. I mean, last year my role was a little bit different with like my shot selection and stuff like that, so just coming in and trying to be the best version of myself is something that I'm trying to do this year.
Kennedy, you guys went on a run in the second quarter. It seems like Jazzy was a big part of that. How did you see her key that run defensively, especially?
Yeah, she was heating up the ball, getting steals in our press. She was bringing the ball up, getting to the basket, and that's stuff that she does best. So when she has the opportunity, I tell her take it. I have full confidence in her.
For either of the players, Coach talked about increasing the defensive intensity and helped spark that run. For you guys going forward against Notre Dame, what do you guys need to do to avoid a lull to start the game?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
What do you guys need to do to, personally as players, from your perspective, to avoid a lull at the start of the game against Notre Dame?
I think just starting the game how we want to start to finish, locking in on our scout. I mean, I feel like with this game, we knew that they were rebounding, we knew that they were pressing, so coming out slow is not acceptable. So coming out this following game and just honing in on our scout and being disciplined as well.
both players. It's kind of piggybacking off what he said about that. For the game, though, what can you take away from this game that you would like to do against Notre Dame coming up, and as far as from each other that you saw today doing well? Can both of you speak on what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I think just our defensive intensity. I think we all kind of follow behind Ken when she's hitting up the ball and being super aggressive on defense. We're like, all right, here we go. Like, let's get to it. So I think that just when we're at our best defensively, it kind of leads us into our offense.
I would agree with what she says. I think defense leads to offense. So if we're hitting up the ball, having ball pressure, the next pass needs to be in denial. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach. Your team had 40 points scored in the paint today. It's pretty much half your guys' points today. Would you tie that into the intensity that you guys were showing?
I mean, I think the turnovers, like we had a lot of live ball turnovers that we created. So we had 33 points off their turnovers, and a lot of those were layups, right? We had a number of players literally just pick pocket and get to the rim. I think also, you know, when we talked about with them playing a zone, you know, layups and threes, you know, we have really good mid-range shooters too, but what they would give up typically is either they're going to collapse and we're going to spray for threes, or potentially we'd be able to get something at the rim. And that's what, you know, we're figuring out. We have multi-dimensional players. You know, like I said, we're trying to get the ball to Ken in the high post or get to Jazzy in the high post. They can make the right play. They can reverse it and someone can knock down three, or they can go to the rim, or maybe they're dumping it. Thought we had some good high-low action at times. Like Diana's a really good cutter. And I think she was on the receiving end. She passed a couple. Like we put pressure on the interior, and at the same time, I think then that ended up opening it up for some better threes, you know, later in the game as well.